Videos like these are made possible by viewers like you, who support the channel through Patreon, channel memberships, and stream donations. And don't forget to check out the Bad Weapon Rehabilitation servers at www.badweaponrehab.tf. Check the links in the description for more information, and let's get into the video. I am Heavy Weapons Guy, and this is my weapon. But can Heavy beat Fallout New Vegas with this weapon? And can I beat Fallout New Vegas as the Heavy Weapons Guy from Team Fortress 2? I felt a little bad about the blue balls from last episode when talking about playing Heavy, since that was what a lot of people really wanted to see. So now we're doing it for real this time. I hope we're all ready for some rules, challenges, and stipulations. Primaries are easy. There's only two miniguns in the game, the regular minigun, and its unique variant, the CZ57 Avenger. And of course, there's all the non-lever action double-barreled shotguns for secondaries, same as with Pyro, and while there's obviously no food weapons, we'll definitely be incorporating Heavy's insatiable appetite into the run. And for melee, I ended up using quite a few unarmed weapons. For Heavy's bare fists, there's the bare fists, as well as the boxing tape, which I see as basically the same thing. There's also the boxing gloves, though these aren't quite as good as the KGB or GRU. Brass and spiked knuckles for the eviction notice, which are a hell of a lot better than that weapon. The Yaogwai gauntlets, again, a hell of a lot better than the warrior spirit. And the basic power fist for my fists of steel. For the challenges I have to complete, I have to kill 10 Mr. Gutsies and sentry bots with either brass or spiked knuckles, once again cripple right arms with shotguns, kill 10 members of any of the strip families with my minigun, kill 15 super mutants with the power fist, and of course, Deathclaw Pro Hunter is back again. I now have to kill 5 adult Deathclaws with the boxing tape. You might think that boxing tape is a bit of a stretch from bare fists, and I only put it on my usable weapons list, so I had to do this challenge again. Anyway, I know what you're thinking as soon as we get to the special stats screen here. Heavy is one of those characters who you can make a genuine case for putting lots of points into almost every stat with the exception of agility, which I dump immediately. High strength and endurance on a character who uses miniguns and shotguns with damage piercing and knockback? This is going to be the second easiest challenge playthrough anyone's ever played of New Vegas. And I thought so too, so I decided to really mix things up a bit. One of Heavy's most instantly recognizable character traits is his iconic eating. Man brings a sandwich to a gunfight and he wins. I don't know how he does it. So let's really put that to the test. Stim packs are going in the garbage. I am only allowed to heal in this playthrough by eating. So I've really got to make a lot of use out of my endurance. As for the rest of my special stats, I give Heavy above average intelligence, low perception, and average charisma and luck. I feel like Heavy's perception has to be a stat I can sacrifice a little bit since he's so vulnerable to spies. Also, maybe the constant sounds of minigun firing have damaged his eardrums, I don't know. Tag skills are obvious. Guns, unarmed, and of course survival to not only maximize my healing output, but also to unlock new recipes to eat even more. And finally for traits, I take fast shot, which felt fitting for the miniguns, and heavy-handed since with only average luck, I won't be getting all that many critical hits anyway. Besides, it's got heavy in the name. Once I'm loose, I root around Goodsprings for supplies, including the single shotgun in town. This will certainly be a weapon I use. Thanks to picking unarmed as a tag skill, I start off with boxing gloves, and Chet is nice enough to send me some boxing tape. So at least I'm not struggling for weapons. Having a ranged weapon, I can do the tutorial and, oh god, the reloading. I think having only one agility may have been an even bigger handicap than the food restriction, because this reload speed is painful. I guess that means I'll be using a lot of unarmed. Haha, tricked you! My 2 starting unarmed weapons are also pretty much dog shit. The boxing gloves are fairly good at inflicting fatigue damage on enemies, which is what causes them to fall over and get stunned. But their damage is awful. These geckos are the first enemies the game expects you to fight, and they take ages to kill. Very fitting for Heavy. No matter what I do, it's gonna be slow. I'm so slow killing these geckos that this lady straight up almost dies to them. Killing things is usually supposed to be the one thing Heavy is fast at, but alright. Even coyotes end up being a problem for me. This is so not sustainable. At the very least, they're good eating. I root around the area for a while looking for food and supplies to make weapon repair kits. The easiest way to get a minigun is to go to Novak and kill the Nightkin there, but it's in terrible shape by the time you get it, so I want to be able to fix it up quick and use it as fast as I can. However, I soon run into a big problem. A single, regular rad scorpion.
This is the one thing we didn't want to happen.
No joke, it took me about 3 minutes to kill this thing. It wasn't even hard since I kept stunning it, but it just took forever. I would have done better against this thing with the 9mm pistol the game starts you off with, but Heavy does not use guns for tiny baby men. Alright, that's more than enough time spent covering Good Springs. I helped the town against the powder gangers. Mostly because Trudy sold me a lot of food and I was so hungry. Getting everyone to help me isn't so hard, but actually fighting is another story. This is such a bad selection of starting weapons. I win in the end, but Ringo doesn't. He was so aggressive that he ended up putting himself right in the middle of the line of fire, and being slower than my dead grandma, I couldn't do a lot to save him. Rest in peace, Ringo. You've redeemed yourself from the spy video. With that, the journey begins. I'll be following the intended route to get to Novak, so it's off to Prim we go. The convicts in the quest here are always a good source of early game experience, so I don't mind coming here too often. After clearing out the ones outside, I managed to get my hands on some brass knuckles. So I guess I managed to get some brass knuckles on my hands. Either way, these are easily the best weapons in my possession right now. Using the eviction notice is about the only time in TF2 when I wish I was using the stock fists, or especially something like the GRU or KGB. But now I can't see myself using anything else. These are actually solid weapons. Even the convict leader with his big incinerator isn't a threat at all. Heavy does counter pyro after all, and I end up going to fight even more convicts at the prison, where I actually managed to get overwhelmed for the first time in the playthrough so far. For as garbage as my damage output has been, I at least hadn't died until now. It turned out the solution was shoving as much food down my cake hole as possible, and then running forward and punching everyone to death. This would become the dominant strategy for many encounters such as this. Anyway, I'm here not to just wipe out all the powder gangers from existence, I also want to recruit Myers here as the new sheriff of Prim. I feel like the Heavy would be sympathetic towards the guy who's been incarcerated. Or at least the one guy being incarcerated that didn't try to murder him. The people who do keep trying to murder me can all go and die. Though the remaining powder gangers do give me quite a bit of trouble. This food-only healing system is definitely proving to be a proper challenge, but having to punch all these people to death with no piercing strike or super slam is probably not helping things either. I still beat them, but it took a lot of drugs. Oh yeah, and on the way to the NCR outpost to get a pardon from Myers, I run into another regular rad scorpion. This one I managed to kill in about 10 seconds. So, you know, a little better than 3 minutes. Maybe the scorpions here are just, built different. One funny gecko ragdoll later, I go to Mitten so I can turn in all the, hey, the Legion turned the town into a fucking crater quest at the outpost, and I may as well talk to boxcars too. Heavy does not like lethal powder ganger men, but I bet you anything he hates people who engage in slavery more. Not that I'm about to take on Legion assassins with nothing but my brass knuckles though. The Legion will get what's coming to them in time. Heavy is slow, but this means Heavy is patient. I buy the pardon, turn in my quest, punch more bugs to death, and get that town a sheriff. With that, it's back through Mitten as I head on over to Novak, and I realize that these crucified fellows are perfect for farming this stupid shotgunning right arms challenge. Surprisingly, they're not that adept at fighting back. Well, that's one down. After doing to the local bighorns what the US government did to the American bison, I come across a familiar location filled with some powerful ghouls. But that's not all that's here. I know that in that little shack right there is a hunting shotgun. Not easy to come across this early in the game, and certainly much stronger than the crappy single shotgun I have now. The only problem is the ghouls. They kick my ass. 10 endurance doesn't mean much when they just rip through you even through your healing. There's a bunch of them. They hit insanely hard, they're fast, and my best weapon at this point is brass knuckles, meaning I have no choice but to go in fist swinging. I tried just making a break for the shack, grabbing the gun, and bolting. Though Heavy isn't known for being quick on his feet and making a clean getaway. Well, after another try, the getaway I make isn't exactly clean, but hey, I have a gun, I'm not beholden to your rules and standards anymore. Oh yeah, and remember that one cave full of Night Stalkers from the spy video I spent like 20 minutes trying to clear out before giving up altogether? Yeah, I punched them all to death in like 5 seconds. This is why the healing stipulation is so important. Also, there's a power fist in this cave. I didn't even know that going in, I just wanted to kill things. That pastime takes you to all kinds of interesting places. And the merchants right outside are selling power fist mods. I should spontaneously decide to kill things way more often. Here, let's give it another shot. Swan dive. Ooh, and a solid landing. Well, with all these guys spontaneously murdered, I free the slaves and move on towards Novak. and nothing interesting happened on the way there at all. I can tell you for certain what didn't happen. I definitely didn't accidentally quick save after aggroing all the Deathclaws outside of Deadwind Cavern. I didn't use a group of raiders as bait to get them away from me while I got some distance from them, and when they didn't keep chasing me afterwards, I definitely didn't do the same with not only this group of traveling merchants, but also the soldiers at Ranger Station Charlie. And if any of that were to happen, then I'm sure everyone involved would have deserved it. Anyway, after looting all these bodies that got here somehow, I finally make it to Novak. And the first thing I do is wait for midnight, kill the Nightkin, and get my goddamn minigun. Finally. I use the weapon repair kits I've been saving up, and have a full condition minigun ready to go. Now if only I had more than a fraction of a second's worth of ammo for it. Also, I decided to use my brain powers to make this lady's head explode. For funny. And since we're going the intended route anyway, I figure I may as well do come fly with me. Especially since all those Nightkin in the basement are free points towards one of my challenges. You don't get any better than here and Black Mountain for farming these guys. You may wonder why I use my hunting shotgun on the one in Novak. Well, for one thing, unarmed and melee weapons have a tendency to knock the weapon out of the enemy's hands and damage it, and the minigun you find is on death's door anyway, and broken weapons can't be repaired with weapon repair kits. The second reason is I forget it. The important thing is everyone dies, and then everyone flies, and then I get a shitload of experience points. We know how this goes. Moving on to Boulder City, I partake in the time-honored tradition of the punching to death of the pyro ants out here on the lonesome dusty trail, and upon arriving at Boulder City, for once I don't go killing every single great con in sight. I decided that Heavy, despite his outward appearance of laughing maniacally while mowing down his enemies with an automatic weapon, is one of the more level-headed mercs who probably wouldn't be a violent murder hobo. But when it did come time to fight, that's when the fun begins. Speaking of which, on my way to Vegas, I finally find someone willing to sell me 5mm rounds for my minigun, so I can actually kill things with it now. And helping out the great cons earlier at Boulder City will also assist me in this goal, even if I hadn't realized it yet. So with this newfound power at his disposal, Heavy does what Heavy does best. Mows down an entire group of enemy mercenaries and gets shot in the head by an enemy sniper. Jesus, that thing hurt. Speaking of hurt, I decided to save exploring Vegas for another time. I'm going up through the Cazador Road past Good Springs because I want love and hate. The unique spiked knuckles that will be invaluable to me on my journey. And slaughtering all the Cazadors on the way over for a bit of extra experience is a nice little bonus. Most of the raiders don't last long against my minigun, but being a heavy and all, their sniper trained on me doesn't make my job easy. But it's all worth it for these bad boys. Especially because I'm gonna need some new firepower. After clearing out a cave of fire geckos, my minigun is already out of ammo. Since I'm heading through the area, I decide to pay Violet and the other fiends a visit, and without even trying, I end up blowing her head right off her shoulders, and spoiler alert, I end up doing this to both of the other fiends I'm supposed to bring back with intact heads. I wasn't even trying to, I swear. Oh well. Heavy does good job, not clean job. I pop over by Sloan later because through means I don't understand in the slightest, I somehow managed to get my hands on a Deathclaw egg, and thought that having a Deathclaw omelet would be good for healing in a pinch, especially if I could somehow make more. And since I'm in the area, I mark off Hidden Valley on the map for later. What the fuck was that? Did you see that in the sky? Okay, anyway, I clear out the scorpions and there it is again! I don't trust anything about this area. After the spy video, I'm convinced this is where all the bugs live. Well, let's get as far away from there as possible by going to the one place where bugs can't follow us. Zion. Yep, it's back to Honest Hearts, and just like with the scout video, we're here for one unique weapon in particular. The unique Yaoguai gauntlet, She's Embrace. And yeah, Honest Hearts is Honest Hearts. I said basically everything I could say about it in the last run. I don't do anything different. The only thing that changes is now I got to do drugs and kill a bear. Oh yeah! That being said, the bear did put up a fight, but this is probably the most lore accurate thing that's happened in the series so far. I mean, we know that Heavy pretty casually kills bears all the time, and as for the doing drugs thing, well, the buffalo steak sandwich was originally supposed to be a peyote, so it's not out of the question for him. Though try as I might, the Yaoguai of Zion still have a lot more experience in bare-hand-to-bare-hand combat than I do. I'll get better at it in time. Yeah, see, these guys aren't very good at it at all. Hey, lady, do you mind? I'm trying to trip balls here. But yeah, I side with Joshua Graham, kill everyone, pop a cap in general gobbledygook, blah blah blah, we're done here. I hate to gloss over something that took like 2 hours in game, but yeah, there's just nothing else to say about it. We got the warrior spirit. I'm satisfied with that. Never thought I'd say that. With that out of the way, I decided it's time to go out of my way to complete one of my challenges. And after the scout run last time, I know just the place to go look for sentry bots and Mr. Gutsies, over by the crashed vertibird. Well, it's not going to be my last time here, but at least this time I came looking for a fight. And boy did I get one. Get out of my head, get out of my head, get out of my head, get out of my head! Ah! I go to fucking town on these robots as soon as I get a good angle on approaching them. It takes my own weight in food and plenty of drugs, but clearly all the hours I've spent in MVM have paid off, as I wipe out all 9 of them out of 10. It's fine. It's fine. I'll find another one around somewhere. Having gone through all that effort and honest hearts to get the warrior spirit, I decide to go test it out. And hey, remember how last time it took me like 10 seconds to punch a scorpion? Gone. I guess getting piercing strike probably helped with that, but it's still satisfying. Now I'm running into a problem with my minigun. It gets the job done, but it bleeds through ammo fast. Even the gunrunners and Alexander aren't enough to keep me topped off. I'm like a hummingbird that constantly needs nectar or else I'll die. Like some of a fat guy and I eat bullets. And sandwiches. Luckily, because I let the Great Khans live, I can go visit their armorer and buy bullets from her by the 1,000. Not to mention buying 5.56 rounds from her that I can break down and turn to even more 5mm bullets with all of my leftover casings. Now we're in business. Well, that unfinished business with the Sentry Bot challenge is seriously getting to me, so I decided to pop into Lonesome Road, since I know there's Sentry Bots to spare there after the Scout challenge. Alright, there's one. Come here, you son of a bitch! Ah! Huh. No challenge completed notification? Ah, I guess that's why the challenge specifies Mojave Wasteland Sentry Bots. Well, at least this fight went easier than Scouts did, but this was still a complete waste of time. One of these days, I'll actually have one of the mercs go all the way through Lonesome Road and not just pop in for a visit. That's gotta be pretty frustrating for Ulysses. Well, if I can't finish that challenge right now, I guess I'll just go have to do another. Time for Deathclaw Pro Hunter. I mean, my stats are about as jacked as they're gonna be. I have the perks I need outside of getting a handful of better weapons like the Riot Shotgun and Avenger. I'm not getting any stronger, so let's get killing. And the first one goes down incredibly easily. Even the second one only managed to scrape in 1 hit against me. Though getting rushed down by 2 at once when I reload as slowly as I do doesn't make my life any easier. Thank God I'm not still stuck with a single shotgun. That slow reload speed almost comes to bite me in the ass against this one. I can't switch weapons until I fully reload, and it's so fucking slow that it almost gets up and kills me. I get lucky with a Super Slam knockdown and kill it for good, thankfully. The same thing almost happens again with Deathclaw number 4, except he actually gets a hit in on me. But I'm not done yet. I have 1 left, and I've decided that Heavy will kill the alpha male Deathclaw with his bare hands, wrapped in tape. Why the alpha male and not the mother? He's closer. I do manage to turn him into a funny ragdoll, but I'm making the hardest challenge in the game even harder on myself at no extra benefit when my only hope is knocking him down with and stay back when I can't proc that effect nearly as often as I'd like because I reload like my fingers don't even have bones in them. It takes a few tries, and even when I do manage to get him knocked down in a good position, here comes Tweedledee and Tweedledum to rush up on my shit and 2-tap me. AIDS! But after more attempts than I'd like to admit, I knock him down, focus on his feet harder than a fetish pornography site, or just the frontier, until he's completely crippled, keep him on the ground, and give him the mother of all prostate exams to finish the job. I'm sure I'll never do anything that stupid ever again. Well, now that that's over, I can at least just use my fucking minigun on these bastards. Yeah, that's nice. Cathartic. Heavy is pleased. And it takes a few more attempts, but the mother Deathclaw goes down too. And now I know exactly what sick man sends babies to fight me. Okay, I know we just completed 1 challenge after trying to complete another challenge, but I can't just walk by Black Mountain and not punch all the super mutants there. To death, bro. I am a little bit concerned about going through this area after the spy video. I wasn't sure if something around here triggered that whole business with the lag, but I got lucky this time around and avoided it. Whatever it was. The mutants aren't all that bad, all things considered, and I managed to push my way through them. And before I even reached the top, I managed to get the challenge done. Thank God, another one actually done with. The mutants up at the top of the mountain are actually fairly threatening, but I'm able to muscle through it, kill Tabitha and her goons with the power of my knuckles, and finish the quest. I then make my way through the map, trying to reach the out-of-the-way little corner where my unique minigun is. Outside of the Riot Shotgun, This is the last thing I need in my arsenal, and on the way over, I get jump scared by a Deathclaw. At least that's actually supposed to be scary and it's not a fucking bug. It's not like my minigun is bad against Deathclaws or anything, it's just that the reload is so fucking slow that there's going to be a massive chunk of any given fight where I can't do anything. Cazadors aren't a problem at all, since they get shredded by automatic weapons, and unless their numbers are so high that I run out of bullets, that's not something I have to worry about. But any elongated fights, I'm gonna need a new strategy for. Well, I give the old minigun one last spin on all these centaurs guarding her replacement, the CZ-57 Avenger. After that, I head over to the Thorn, and you all know where this is going. Eggs for segs. I think the idea that Scout's mom was just a town bicycle and everyone has to go at her is just really funny. Of course, Scout didn't go for her because this isn't an episode of Rick and Morty. But why didn't Pyro have the sex with her?
What are you, fucking gay?
I enter Freeside for the first time in the entire playthrough, and give the new gun a spin, and find out that it has half as much ammo as the regular minigun. This means even though the fire rate and accuracy are superior, my main problem, which is reload speed, just got even worse. I can't help but feel a bit foolish now. But what's more important is, we're here on the strip, and there's something I've been neglecting until now. And this is the perfect excuse for it. The Heavy has appeared in Poker Night at the Inventory, meaning he's canonically a gambling man. So how about we head into a casino, play some blackjack, and start rolling in the... And with that challenge out of the way, all that leaves is the sentry bot for our challenges. But since I'm in the area, I may as well go kill Benny and grab the platinum chip. And I'll give it to House while I'm at it. I decided to go for House this run since Heavy is a decently intelligent character, so he'd pick the best one. That means it's off to Cottonwood Cove next to talk to fellow bald punchy man Caesar, and activate the Securitron army. I was kinda hoping to run into a sentry bot guarding this area, but no, it was just Protectrons and turrets. I think the sentry bots only come out if you destroy the bunker for Caesar. So instead, I head over to the Repcon HQ through Sloan. I know there's sentry bots there if you activate the alarms, and going through Sloan lets me develop a new strategy. This reloading thing is such a major handicap, but in fighting the Deathclaws on the way through, I managed to come up with a workaround. If I can switch weapons before I run out of ammo, I won't have to sit through the reload animation, and can keep up my fire rate as much as I want. I don't know why I didn't think about Doom Eternal quick switching until now, probably because Heavy isn't very quick. But the strat works, and I can move on after slaughtering all the Deathclaws. I take my time up on the top floor of Repcon, waiting for the alarms to activate, find our last sentry bot, and punch it to death to complete our final challenge. Thank God. And now I can get back to business. I didn't forget about that little family trapped in the Caesar's Legion gulag back at Cottonwood Cove, and now all of these people need to die. I take my time trying to be sneaky about killing them, but any holiday punch heavy will tell you that stealth is not Heavy's strength, and I end up getting caught out and forced into combat. But I free the enslaved family. Good job, Heavy. But that's not enough, and I decide to wipe out the entire fort, really putting my new quick switching strategy to the test. Of course, as always, once I get to the top of the hill, things get a lot harder, but my limitation of only using food for healing actually works out for me. I have so many different sources of food that when they all stack together, I have an absolutely insane healing rate that's completely passive and lets me tank a lot of damage while I dish out a lot of damage. I understand now the way of the sandwich. Then after leading Caesar's guards out of the tent, I mow them down and finish off the man himself with a quick punch from Love and Hate. I probably haven't been showing it off enough, but these things seriously do so much work for me. They're amazing. Once that's done, it's time to work on getting eggs for segs. I grabbed the Mantis eggs from Vault 22, and while I'm here I figure I may as well do the quest for this vault, but I run into a problem. None of the weapons I have can properly ignite the gas without killing me in the process. I tried everything, miniguns, shotguns, dragon's breath rounds, taking lots of drugs, nothing worked. I thought I'd just leave, but Keely has the vault locked at this point in the quest. You have to complete it in order to leave. Or... I don't feel good about doing that, but you did lock me in a hole in the ground. Heavy does not like this. Oh well, what's most important is getting our next set of eggs. Killing giant rad scorpion seems like a fun way to burn away a few bullets. How far we've come since the beginning. Then, as I'm running to go get the fire gecko eggs, well, what should I run into but the consequences of my own actions? Well, after once again proving that Heavy counters Sniper, I put that Deathclaw omelet to good use and heal past the rest of their damage so I can turn the rest of these guys into paste. And go get my gecko eggs. At the Bloodborne for PC Never Cave, I punch more Night Stalkers to death. Seriously, these knuckles are awesome. Grab the eggs, and only 2 more to go. Neither of which are any trouble at all. Like I said earlier, Cazadors get shredded by automatic weapons, and as for Deathclaws, well, I already cleared out Quarry Junction, so I'm good to go there. And once that's done, I go rail Scout's mom and get a new shotgun which I can actually use. Take that, spy. Then with that done, I figured it's time to start working towards House's goals. Starting with the boomers, of course. I was a bit worried getting through their barrage without any stim packs, but I seemed to manage just fine, and I decided to help them out. I can't help them with all of their problems. If this youngster is anything to go by, then inbreeding has already dealt a pretty heavy blow to them, but I can at least kill some ants for them. And then once I do that, I turn in my mission to Raquel, and then I just give her a bunch of missiles I've been hoarding the whole game for boomers fame, and that instantly gives me all the reputation I need to not do anything else for them. I always see people needing to repair the solar arrays or listen to the kid's history lesson, but like, just hoard missiles, it's way faster. So with that, I bring the submerged plane to the surface, and now the boomers will heed my every command. Just a few more things and we're good to go. The next thing House wants me to do is destroy the Brotherhood of Steel. Like I don't do that every run anyway. But having a ridiculous weapon with armor-piercing rounds on it, and through the power of shoveling food in my face, I'm able to clear out the first room on my first try. I don't think I've managed to do that before. Then after doing the hokey pokey with some sentry guns, I punch a bunch of people to death and blow the bunker to smithereens. Easily my easiest time dealing with the Brotherhood in any of these runs. After that, I have to protect the President, and this time, I'm not just going to murder him for no reason. We're breaking all kinds of conventions in this run. But before that, considering Heavy's expertise in fine dining, I thought it would be appropriate to do the Beyond the Beef quest. I feel like despite his enormous appetite, Heavy would be pretty opposed to the whole eating people thing. I talked to the man with the ghastly gibbous himself, beat him to death with my bare fist since I'm allowed to do that in this run, and work on finding the guy he plans to eat. It's not that these white gloves in the hotel room are a threat, it's just that only having my fists is a pain in the ass. But if it's going to be any character stuck in this position, at least it's Heavy. I use Heavy's iconic powers of speaking to trick the chef into the freezer and begin to escort Ted Gunderson out to freedom. And then he gets stuck. I don't know how he gets stuck or why, but he absolutely refuses to leave the gourmand. I guess he's just really looking forward to the main course tonight. It's you, dumbass! Well, the quest is basically soft locked at this point, so fuck it. I tried. Have fun at dinner. I got a president to save. Once I'm at the Hoover Dam, I look around and find this suspicious guy with a failsafe detonator in his pocket, so I blow his fucking head off with a shotgun. And I guess that startled the president, so he left before he can even get out of his helicopter. Mission accomplished. And on my way to the substation, in an eerily similar scenario to the scout run, there is a Legion assassin squad just waiting for me. This is actually probably the hardest fight I've had to deal with since the beginning of the game. These guys just tear through me, and the surrounding ants are barely any help. Luckily on my final attempt, the last guy ends up being a little baby coward man and runs away for some inexplicable reason. So a 3-on-1 is a lot more fair, for me. Then activating the substation is as simple— oh, hang on, gotta clean up this mess. As simple as activating this terminal here, and we're good to go for the final battle at Hoover Dam. The battle begins, and oh hey look, there's those great cons I was so nice to the whole game. Oops. Unsurprisingly, the Legion's sharpshooters turn out to be incredibly annoying to deal with, especially when my healing is so slow. I can outpace a lot of damage in this game with food, but not damage like this. I am able to work my way through it by utilizing a bit of cover, and funnily enough, a sniper perch ends up being the best bet for the next wave of legionaries. The heavy NCR troopers are no match for the spiky, pointy knuckles of the heavy weapons guy, and I install House into the mainframe. The legionaries outside continue to give me trouble with their anti-material rifles, but they didn't count on me being very, very hungry. It doesn't take much, and soon I'm in the Legate's camp. Dinner Bell does a fair job at clearing out all the guards, leaving only Lanius himself. My first attempt goes pretty poorly, but this was totally my fault. I should have been using armor-piercing rounds on my minigun, and in trying to switch to them mid-fight, it was already too late. With the proper rounds in hand, and after pre-gaming by eating everything in my inventory beforehand so I'd be able to heal through all the damage without needing to stop mid-fight, I managed to blitz through Lanius' health, and bring him down to his second phase almost instantly. And by the time I catch up with him, he is at a sliver of health, and one more volley is enough to put him into the ground. And all that leaves is his guards, who frankly don't stand a chance against me at this point. And speaking of not standing a chance against me, here comes good old General Oliver and his boys, who fold like a banana at the first sign of gunfire. I talk to House and beat the game, proving that you can beat Fallout New Vegas as the Heavy from TF2. No shit. I definitely should have given this run the fair shot it deserved when it was initially asked for. It was definitely one of the smoother playthroughs so far, but that was kind of expected going in. The beginning was basically agony. I never knew how bad low agility would be for reloading and even weapon drawing. Once the brass knuckles came along though, it was all uphill from there, and only kept getting better. And I think it's funny that some of Heavy's least used weapons ended up being so influential in this run. I'll be back with more runs just like this soon. Let me know who you want to see next, and I'll see you all then. I don't think that's right. You're going to jail.